That's right. Oh, I'm recording this? Oh, thanks, Tags. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to school. This is Mr. Bennett doing some distance learning with you today. And I'm here to tell you about what you need to do for week 1 of biology distance learning and help answer some questions regarding the work you're going to be doing for this week. And then I'm going to get back to petting my cat. So for this week, first thing you're going to do is you'll be in classroom. And what that's going to look like, I'll show you here. So in Google Classroom, you'll be on your classroom, whether it's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th hour. And you've probably already found this video here. And so you've also maybe found this doc here that says Biology Bennett Week 1. So this is an outline of what you're going to do for the week. And it tells the main things you need to do to turn in and how to learn about ecosystems. So week 1, April 6th through the 10th, is an introduction to ecosystems and species, and that's our main focus. Our question is, how do small changes make big impacts on an ecosystem? So little things can cause big important things to happen in an ecosystem. So that's what we're going to be learning about. Important stuff that relates to everything from cats to viruses. So the first thing you're going to do is to watch Bennett Biology intro video. Good job, you're doing that right now. Hope you're enjoying it. And next, you're going to complete lesson 1 by working through ecosystems, lesson 1 slides, and adding Post-its to pin up. I wonder what that is. I guess you'll find out. And filling out the lesson 1 ecosystems activity Google Forms. Google Forms, you've probably done those before. So if you're back on Classroom, it's going to look something like this. You've got your, underneath the first thing, which we're on right now, you're going to go to lesson 1 slideshow and lesson 1 Google form. And this is an assignment. So you're going to turn something in for this. The slides you're just going to look at, and then the form you're going to turn in. So you click on those slides. You can also find this through classwork if you're into that. Finding things on classwork is easy. Q4 distance learning, what we're experiencing right at this moment. And we have the slideshow, and that's what we're looking at first. So lesson 1 slideshow, and then the Google form, back on that. All right, so we can find that on either of those places. You're going to click on the slideshow, and you're going to start with something with a bunch of buffalo on it, and it says, why is the population changing? So we're going to find out why the population is changing. You're going to make a good guess at least, and then we're going to work through it and learn more about how different things can cause populations to change. And it looks like these buffalo are in Africa, because there's a big old map of Africa. It says something about Africa. A few of you have done something like this before, and so it may be familiar. And so then you're going to go to this Google form. And here's the Google form that's also in Classroom next to that slideshow. And it says, why is the population changing? So it seems to match. You know, it's a good idea is to put this over to the side so I can do 2 things at once. I can look at this slideshow and I can answer these questions. I think that'll help get things done more efficiently. So if I've got these questions here, I can make it real skinny. And I see my first question is, well, it's not really a question. It's just a place to put my email address. That way I can get credit for doing this work. And then on the slideshow, we have this question, and it says, we are exploring something new. Our investigation takes place in Africa, specifically Serengeti National Park. Answer the first question on your Google form. So there's our Google form. Let's find that first question. Oh, shoot. Well, there's another sub question here. What hour are you in? Make sure you put the hour that you're in. Try to remember what hour you're in. You probably can find it on your classroom page if you're not sure. And so then there's our actual first question with a number 1 next to it. Write what you know about wildlife in Africa. So you're going to click on that, type in a bunch of things. I know that in Africa, it's a big place. There's deserts, there's jungles, and there's wildlife in those. It's about Africa and it's wildlife. So type in what you know about the wildlife. And notice I was just reading notes at the bottom of this slideshow. That's something you're going to have to do a lot of for really for biology the rest of the semester. So I've got slideshows and then notes down below those. On the next slide, there is a graph with one of those buffaloes, and it shows something there. So you're going to read that graph, try to decipher that, and then read the notes down here. It gives some more detail about that, and it says answer that question on your Google form. So looks like there's a graph on the Google form. Well, that's convenient, it's there. And then there's the question. So basically, you're going to go back and forth and use both of these tools to answer the questions on your Google form. And the next thing you're going to do is answer kind of a big question with a question. So we've got brainstorming questions. What questions do you have about possible causes? So why is this happening? Why is the population changing with these buffalo? And you're going to answer that a couple different places. You're going to answer it really 3 different places. First, in your head, you're going to think about it. And once you've got a hypothesis, you're going to make a question out of that. So could it be this? Or what if this? Is this a possible cause? And so you're going to answer that on something called pinup. So you're going to click on this thing where it says pinup. It gives instructions on how to use that there. So pinup looks like this. And pinup has this ecosystems driving question board, which is what we're going to be working on, driving some questions forward to help us learn more about ecosystems. And I put this question here as an example. I wonder how hunting might affect the buffalo. Do people hunt buffalo? Did this decrease over time? If so, why? So there's kind of a few questions rolled into that, but it's really about the cause of the buffalo's population change. Could it have something to do with hunting and the change in hunting? So that's my hypothesis I put on here. You make your own hypothesis by clicking one of these blue things. A new post-it will pop up on there, and then you can play with that post-it, change different things about it. And you can also just trash it. So I'm going to trash that one. It's extra. All right, so make your own post-it. Go back to that slideshow, and then you can say, okay, that was a good series of questions I had there. I'm going to put those right here in this Google form. Good questions. All right, and then you're going to go on to the slideshow and figure out the rest of this. Finish that up. There's some definitions. There's a video, exciting video, and again, more notes down below you can read. And then there's something for some Google Maps. You can check out this place called the Serengeti. That's the ecosystem that this slideshow focuses on and this Google form's about. And so you could check out all the different animals that are in the Serengeti and where the Serengeti is. Then there is some data about the Serengeti. And again, all this corresponds or goes along with stuff you can find in this Google form. So there's the link to the Serengeti map, and then here is this data again on the slideshow, or on the slideshow and the Google form. And this data is about how many different animals were found in this one series of sites in the Serengeti that they took pictures from with these automatic cameras. And so you can read the details of that. It's kind of cool how they did that. They asked people to look at these pictures on a website and identify how many of each species there were, and kind of this citizen science thing where people got to help out, and kind of an interesting little thing. And basically you're using that data to just see how much biodiversity there is, or how many different species there are. So there's a definition for biodiversity, different kinds of species that can be found in an area. And if you want to remember what species are, there's a nice definition here back on the slideshow. And so it's important to know what species are, because you're going to be using that information later. And you're going to use it for this question. You're going to turn this in. When you're done with this, you'll click submit. Yay, I'm done with my first assignment. And so after clicking submit, you'll close it. So now you know some things about species. So you're going to go back to, let's see, what else are we doing next? Well, I finished my slides and my Google form. It says view species ecology example CYOA teacher and how-to video. So here we have the next thing we're doing, which is on Classroom, just to show you where that's at in Classroom again. Well, I've done this first thing. This is the week 1 note or outline, and there's the video I'm watching, and now here's the slideshow and the form. So below that, you've got your new species. Oh, my cat's want me to be done. She's ready to be petted again. Hold on, Tigress. And it says CYOA, choose your own adventure. So there's a lot of instructions there that you should read. Please do. It's going over the details of this, and it's going to be due. It's a long-term project. The first part is due on Friday, so you want to finish that for this Friday. So you're going to click on, really I think the first thing to click on is this one, which is called Teacher. So if you kind of mouse over that, you can see that it says Teacher. That way it kind of gives you an idea of where you're going with this. That's an example of what you're going to make. And then you're going to make your own on this other slideshow that says Choose Your Own Adventure. Main idea is you're picking a species. So let me show you the example made by Bailey Bacon, another biology teacher. And so it starts out with kind of an outline of the weeks that you're going to be working on this, and each week is color-coded. So the first week is this salmon kind of pinkish reddish color. And so it's April 6th. We're going to focus on that. And so the first week, it's intro, choose an ecosystem and species. So you're going to pick a species. And she chose the great white shark. And this goes on and shows all the different things that she did that you're going to do about that species. So this week, you're going to choose the species, get a picture of it. You're going to find out some things about the ecosystem that that species lives in. So if it lives in the Serengeti, you'll write about that. You can look things up and you can put them in your own words there. And in the notes, you can put down websites where you got those things. And that's pretty much it for the first week. So choose that species, find out what it looks like. Make sure you put its scientific name. You could Google scientific name and the name of that species, and it's pretty easy to find. Just make sure it's the scientific name, this weird, fancy-looking thing that doesn't sound anything like great white shark. Carcharodon carcharius. So it's a Latin name, and it's telling us anywhere in the world scientists can see that name and they can identify that as the great white shark, because they don't call it a great white shark in Japan. They call it something in Japanese, and then scientists call it Carcharodon carcharius. So then going back to our outline, it says view species ecology example. So I did that. At least I started looking at that, and the how-to video. So there's a how-to video back in Classroom also, how to make your species ecology CYOA, choose your own adventure slideshow for biology. And so here's that video. It's made by Miss Retzloff. So we all kind of work collaboratively on these things. She's made this cute little video.
Howdy, y'all.
And she's from Texas. And so you can check that out. It kind of walks you through how to make your own slideshow. So back on Classroom, you've got this one that you're going to open, and it's going to give you a chance to create your own. And that's what you're going to do. Create your very own one of these and edit this one. So here's the one that you're going to create. It says Species Ecology Presentation. The font's a little different. You're going to insert your name here. This slide you don't have to do anything with. It just kind of goes over the week's activities each week. And again, the color coding. So next week you'll do orange. This week is salmon, pink, red, whatever you call this. And so intro, choose an ecosystem and species. Notice it says ecosystems, choose an ecosystems. That's a mistake. I just noticed that. How exciting. All right. And so for the week of April 6th, we're going to pick a species. So you're going to write your species name once you've picked it, but this has to be a specific species. Maybe you like sea turtles. Well, you can't just put sea turtle there. You have to choose the loggerhead sea turtle or the leatherback sea turtle. There's different sea turtles. You can't just put tiger there. You can put Siberian tiger, or you can put the Bengal tiger, the Indian tiger, whatever. So it has to be a specific species, and then you can look for their scientific name online. Now, a good tool you can use to find good species, and specifically, we want species that are endangered or threatened for this. I think it's going to be better and make this more interesting. So there's a couple lists. So you can click down here below in the notes. Remember, use the notes on these slideshows. And the first one you'll get to is the World Wildlife Federation, and it's got a whole bunch of different species here, page 1 and page 2. So there's that leatherback turtle I brought up, and the macaw loggerhead turtle. There, see sea turtles. And so let's say I like that loggerhead. There he is. Oh, I don't like that one. Maybe I want the other one. You know, so you can go back and find that other sea turtle. And let's say it was the leatherback. Yeah, that's the one I like. Okay, that one, the super cool looking one. All right, so you pick that and it gives you some facts about that. So you can summarize some of these facts. You can look up stuff on other websites to find out details about this species. This website doesn't tell you that much about the species. So this isn't enough probably to fill out like details about the species for the first week. So you should look up other things. It does have the scientific name there though. Notice how it says scientific name. And then it says something else funny in another language, Dermocoscoriacea, or something like that. I've never said those words before because I don't talk about loggerhead or leatherback turtles on a very regular basis. All right, so I'm done with that. I've learned about that. Now I'm going to go back and type things in on my slideshow about this. I'm going to put the name of that thing. I can paste the scientific name so I spell it right there. And take out those quotes, and then I'm going to put a picture there on the next slide. I will go ahead and move on with putting some details about this stuff there. All right, so now where am I at with my week's activities? I'm going to go back to this. I have completed week 1 Species Ecology CYOA slides. Hooray for me, I've gotten some work done. So I've done the underlying things. I completed slides 1 through 6. I went through the Google form and I've watched these videos. I've gotten everything pretty much done that I need to do. If I have questions, what can I do? Well, down at the bottom of this, there's some notes. You can work on these things at your own pace. So don't feel like you got to do it all today or do it all right off the bat. But if you want to, go ahead. It's all due on Friday by 3 p.m. That's when I'm going to grade these things. And my office hours are 1 to 3 every afternoon. So that's when you can ask questions. That's a great time to ask questions. You can email me or send texts. And those are the best times to get a response from me. And you could also call me at this number during that time. And so that number is a good way to get in touch with me. And then emailing me at the m.account is the best one to do if you're a student. So that's pretty much all you need to know for biology for week 1. And I really hope that you're doing well and that you're taking care of yourself and your family, and that you're living a pretty calm, stress-free, healthy life, and that you're getting to do relaxing things like petting your cat. And yeah, that's right. Tiger says goodbye, and feel free to email me any questions that you have. All right. So take care, everybody, and stay safe.